Yeah, I just used that chart that they gave us.
Yeah,
And I just put on there every column that they had. I just put it in each table that they told us to name it.
Okay, so what you need to do now is hook together your foreign keys. So if you go to employee, double click on the employee table, and then down at the bottom, go to foreign keys. Bottom to the left. No.
Other left.
Tab. Keep going down. No, keep going down. There you go. And just to the right.
Oh, I've never even seen those. I just kind of ignore them.
Well, so you don't have to do it this way, but you've put in your foreign keys already, and so now you just need to link them up. So click on foreign keys, and we're going to create a foreign key name. So we're going to hook together the location and the employee. So do location underscore employee underscore FK. Employee, and then underscore FK.
And FK stands for foreign key.
Yes. And then under reference table, you're referencing the the location table. You're in the employee table and you're referencing the location table. So location is what you're looking for.
Okay, let me make sure I understand that before.
Okay, so basically you're hooking the employee to the location. So you're in the employee table and you're going to hook it to the location table. And so
why didn't we put employee first? Could we have
that would actually be wise. Yeah, go ahead and switch it around. This is the name that you are giving to the foreign key. It just means that when it outputs an error or something, it will tell you what it's talking about. But you're right, you should put where you are and then where you're going to. Take away one of those underscores. Not that it's that big of a deal, but. Okay, so now over in the next column, the referenced column that you are talking about, your foreign key, is the location ID. So check mark the location ID. Is it not letting you check it?
Not letting me check it. Does that mean there's something wrong?
Okay, then we're gonna have to do it the other way. Try it one more time. Location ID is what you need to check. Try not checking the box, try checking the word. No? That's so weird. Reference table has no candidate columns with a compatible type for, oh, okay, so let's look at what your location ID, hit okay. Yeah, your location ID is a varchar and it needs to be an int.
I have it.
Location, it's an int, but in employee, it's a varchar.
Oh, sure enough.
So go down at the bottom, very bottom, instead of foreign keys, go to columns. And scroll down and change your employee or location ID to an int.
I tried to make sure I had them all the same.
Okay, you just added a column.
So yeah, how does that? Every time I click not null, it always adds a new column.
You clicked the not null on the next column down.
I did?
Yeah, you did. So then it was like, oh, well, it needs a column. And so just go ahead and get rid of that column. Oh, okay.
Oh, it didn't let me delete it. Darn.
Okay, so you need to delete, oh, that employee column one. I don't know why that is not, but okay, so now, and get rid of that one, the employee call as well. Okay, so now go back to foreign keys down at the bottom. And over in the right column, you're going to just, oh, sorry, in the left column, click on your foreign key that you created. Okay, now go down and click the location ID. And it's referencing the location ID. So what this is saying, we have a foreign key that we have named employee underscore location underscore FK, and it's referencing the location table. We're in the employee table, we're referencing the location table, and the location ID in the employee table is going to match the location ID in the reference table of location.
Which is here.
So now if you look, the location ID in location has a primary key symbol next to it, and over in employee location ID has a foreign key symbol next to it.
Okay.
Okay, so we need to look at any other things that match up. So in the product, that doesn't have any. So let's go to transaction.
Transaction.
So go to the transaction table.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There, no, that's fine. So you've got the employee ID, the customer ID. Both of those are going to be foreign keys. So double click on transaction. Okay, and so you're going to create a foreign key. So go down right where you're at is good. So click just underneath there. There you go. And type in the table you're in, underscore the table you're going to.
Where am I going to? I'm going to.
Well, if it's the employee ID, you're going to the employee table.
Oh, we're still working on the employee ID table?
No, we're working on the transaction one. But okay, so look at the transaction table. Look at your columns. Which one of those columns references another table?
All of them do?
No.
Well, employee ID, because they don't, because, yeah, I remember being confused about that because, okay, employee does up here in the employee table. But then in the customer, oh, that must not be the one I was confused about. We'll get there. Okay.
Sounds good. So you're going to do the same thing you did with these two rows. So go to the foreign key down in the bottom left, give it a name, tell what it's referencing. So it's going to be transaction underscore employee underscore dash FK.
Do I have to make them capital? I don't have to, right?
No.
Okay. And then I click on it. And I click this one.
Hold on, sorry. Well, first you need to put the reference table. The second, there you go. And it's going to be referencing the employee table. And then which column are you using?
Using employee ID.
Yeah. So click employee ID and then employee ID. Okay. And then now you need to do a second one. So in the next row, do the next one for customer ID.
And it connects them for me. I don't have to use the.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you could have done it before and had it connect it for you, but you've already added the columns. So now we just have to connect the columns that you've already added. It's fine to do it either of the two ways. It doesn't matter.
Okay. I know what this symbol is. This is one to many.
Yes.
The same thing. Is this one to many?
Mhm.
Okay, it just looks different, I guess.
So basically your many is being kind of covered up by the square of the transaction table.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Got it. Okay. So now we're down here, and the next one is going to be, what was it? Customer? Customer.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to access the customer table. I mean the
So you're coming from the transaction and going to the customer. So it should be transaction, customer, FK. And you can pick any naming system that you'd like, but that is what I've been taught. So that's what I usually use.
well, that way when you have to go back and look it up, you can see that it was the foreign key, right?
Right, exactly.
Okay. And we need to do customer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then there we go.
I can't believe I overlooked the transaction natural view.
Say that again.
I said I can't believe I looked over I overlooked a table.
Oh, it's because it was on the next page.
Guess so.
I haven't been taught how to do it that way.
Which
Usually
way?
just using these down here.
Oh, yeah. So,
They told us to use those ones.
yeah, which you totally can do. But since you've already added the columns,
Yep,
um,
good, because sometimes I'm confused about if it's one to many or not, and this just does it for me.
yeah, that's true.
Okay. So then we have to connect more tables.
So now go to the transaction detail table and look and see which ones need to be connected.
The employee ID and the customer ID and the transaction date. So 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Whoops, it didn't work. Okay. So my foreign key is going to be transaction detail.
Your foreign key is going to be, yes, transaction ID. Sorry, wait a second. Okay, so you should have a transaction detail ID and you should have a transaction ID.
Yes, I do. There's the transaction ID. There's the transaction detail ID.
No, but transaction detail ID is your primary key for the transaction detail. You also need a transaction ID. I'm pretty sure it had it in there.
I need to put that in my transaction detail?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Um, I don't remember how to do that. It should just do it, right?
So go back to columns down at the bottom, very bottom,
There we
and
go.
column.
I need another one right here.
Yeah.
I can't remember what I'm supposed to do. Transaction ID?
Yes.
What happened? I don't see it still. Oh, there it is. It made it a primary key,
So
but that's not here. Do I need to change it down there? Where did it
where is
go?
it? You still don't have it. I don't know why, but you don't.
It didn't go in.
So add it again.
Mm. Oh, I'm supposed to put it over here.
Oh, yes.
See, every time I click not null, it makes a new thing. I don't know why. It doesn't show another one though. Okay, can we go back to foreign keys now?
Hold on just a second. I am trying to look at the natural view of transactions for just a second. I'm sorry. So the natural view, we don't actually need that. We don't need that table.
We don't need the natural view table?
No, because, okay, so the transaction date is being stored in the transaction table.
Right, and then the customer name, that's what I was confused about because it just shows the customer name, but is that gonna like put the first and last name together if you hook it up there? If you connect it to there?
Yeah, okay, so you just need to get rid of the whole transactional natural view because the natural view makes it naturalized or
It repeats everything.
normal form, right? So,
But some of, okay, is that where I'm confused? Because some of these repeat also. So why is it not okay for this one to repeat, but these ones to do it?
okay, so when it's
That's how they connect the tables?
when it's repeating, it's only your natural or your foreign and primary keys. That's the only thing that should repeat.
Okay.
So if you look, so in the transaction detail, you have the employee ID who did the transaction, but you don't have the employee name. You don't have what location they're working at. In order to get that, you'll have to use this employee ID to go get the employee table. The customer, you have the customer ID so you can tell which customer it is, but you don't have the customer name or the email or the phone number. And if you look at the transaction natural view, the customer name is, you should not be storing that because it's not referring to the primary key of the customer table. It's just repeating information. Employee name, same thing. You can get that from the employee table if you put the employee ID. The product, again, is going to refer to the product table. So you could have a product ID, but you shouldn't have the product name. And then the amount charged is going to be the price from the product table times the number of items from the transaction detail table. So that transaction natural view.
I have done that up here?
You have
times what times?
No. So if you wanted to get the natural view that's shown in the homework, you would need to do a select statement with a whole bunch of different joins.
Oh, okay. So I will just delete this then.
Yeah. There you go. So now all you need to do is hook the transaction detail to all of the things that it's going to refer to.
Okay. I lost my.
Just double click on a table and then you'll get it back.
Okay.
Okay, so if you look at the transaction detail page, which columns are referring to another table?
Employee ID, customer ID, transaction date, and transaction ID.
All except for the transaction date. Also, if you look at your primary key, it doesn't have a name.
My primary key doesn't have a name? Oh, what happened?
I'm not sure. I think it's TRAN detail ID. Okay. So now go in and put your foreign keys for the employee, the customer, and the transaction.
Okay. So we're starting with the transaction and we're going to the other ones?
Yeah.
Oh,
And actually the transaction detail, if you look at the transaction detail, you should only have the transaction detail ID, the transaction ID, the product ID, and the quantity.
I missed those somehow.
Yeah, so go back to the columns tab down at the very bottom. Okay, so you need the transaction detail and you need the transaction ID and the product ID and the quantity. So you don't need employee,
I have them in there.
but you don't need employee ID.
Now I'm confused as to why not. Wasn't that on the thing that they, I can't, that wasn't on the assignment sheet?
No, the transaction detail table has the transaction detail ID, the transaction ID, the product ID, and the quantity.
Okay, I must have gotten confused while I was doing it.
I think you got confused with the, I don't know, maybe the natural view of the transaction. I'm not sure, but get rid of employee and customer and date.
Oops. Will you stop?
If you just want to change the employee ID to the tran ID, transaction ID.
I think I put, oh, I did.
And the transaction ID is not necessarily going to be unique. Your foreign keys are likely not going to be unique because you might have several transactions from several transaction details from the same transaction.
Oh, okay.
What does the G stand for? I don't actually know that.
I was just trying to get it so that I could delete it.
Ah, okay. Okay, so now the customer ID, change that to product ID. And get rid of the unique of that one too.
Each product doesn't have isn't unique. It doesn't have a unique number.
Not in the transaction detail page because you might have a transaction that has a bunch of different shampoos. And so they'll have the same product ID.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay, and then get rid of the transaction date. And you've already got the transaction ID up higher, so get rid of that. And now you need to put a quantity.
What happened?
And that's going to be a number, an integer, not a varchar. And it puts in the not, it looks like it's putting in the not null for you. So the reason why when you go to click it, it adds another column, it's because you're adding to the column below it because it put in the not null for you.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Okay, so you should have 4 columns. Yes, you do. And the transaction ID and the product ID are going to be foreign keys. So you need to add the foreign key constraints.
So my foreign key, the first one is transaction detail, right?
Transaction detail is the primary key, but you need the transaction ID, which is a foreign key for transaction.
Okay. So we're starting with this table and connecting it to that table.
Yes. So you're starting, so it should be transaction detail underscore transaction underscore FK.
Oh, that's what I thought. Okay, and then we're referencing the transaction table.
Yes.
And then, I got confused just now.
You're referring to the transaction table, so which ID is it going to be?
Transaction ID?
Yes.
Not in here. Oh, we're okay. I'm sorry. This, we're connecting to that.
Yep.
Just so you feel better, I walked into the room 3 different times looking for the same thing. Walked back out, forgot, walked back in, forgot. It's just been one of those kinds of days. So, okay, then we're gonna do another one, right?
Mm-hmm.
What happened here?
I am not sure. But go ahead and just, yeah, you can delete that and now put in your product ID. So it's going to be transaction product FK.
Okay, something's wrong. It's not letting me do it. Oh, there it is. No candidate columns. I don't understand what that means.
Okay. So unsigned int. Okay, so hit OK. And so here you have product ID as an int. Go up and look at product ID in product and see if it's also an int. They have to be the same in order to be able to.
It is.
They are an int. Okay, click on it again.
This one?
No, down at the bottom. Yeah, click on that.
Not letting me.
Okay, so you're doing the transaction detail to product. And the product table, and your product ID is an int, and your product ID up above is an int.
Let's try again. There we go. It was just being slow. No?
Reference table has no candidate columns with a compatible type for transaction detail.product.id. Hint, source column has type unsigned int.
Oh.
PK of reference table is int. So one of them is unsigned int and the other one is int. So go back to hit OK and go up to the product table and double click on it and go to the columns and go up to the top. It says int. I have no idea why that's got a problem. Okay, so now go back down to the transaction detail and go to the product ID. The product ID is int, which, go, so notice in your checkboxes, you have UN checked.
Oh. UN.
Okay, now go back to the foreign key. And there you go.
Oh, it likes it now. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so I believe you have everything done now.
Let me see. We got transaction. We got product. Do we have quantity somewhere else?
Quantity, no. Quantity is just going to be the number.
Okay.
Okay, so now arrange your board so that everything shows up and your lines are easy to read.
Okay, customer. Okay, I'm gonna have to move everything down. Hold on.
Click on that bottom section, the transaction detail table. No, keep going down. Go down, down, down. Go down to the next section of your board. Go down below the graph.
Oh,
There
down.
we go. Now on the tab, just hit the X. The transaction detail tabs.
I don't know where you're talking about.
Up a little bit. Up
Right.
a little bit. Up a little bit. Keep going up. The dark blue thing.
Oh.
There we go. Now you got maroon.
I didn't know how you did that. They don't like anything overlapping, right?
Right. So move your customer down so that it's out of the way. There. Now.
Looks like nothing's overlapping.
If you want, you can move it up, move the transaction and the transaction detail up a little bit so that they fit better.
No. I guess that's the best I can do.
Yep, that looks good. Okay, so now you need to save it. Save it as a.
I saved it as
First export. Well, okay, yeah, save it first, just as Salon. Oh, one more thing, cancel. Go over to the left side where it says catalog tree, right there, and it says MyDB. Click on MyDB. Double click on it. Okay, and change the name MyDB to Salon or whatever you want the database to be called.
Do I put an underscore in there or can I put a space?
No space. You can use camel case or you can do an underscore. Okay, but this is the name of your database. So your database should not be ERD. I would name it Salon DB or just Salon.
Okay, I'll just leave it like that then.
Okay. Okay, so now hit the X on the blue. Okay, now save it.
This one?
No, you're just gonna name it just Salon. I can't remember what they wanted us to name it. Name it Salon ERD.
Like it was?
ERD, there you go. And then just hit save. And now go File, Export.
Because we're going to export it as a PNG?
Yep.
Oh, and it did tell us it wanted us to do it as something.
It's Salon ERD. And then just hit save and it'll give it your correct ending. Okay, now you need to forward engineer it. So go database up at the top.
Yeah, this is the part that I didn't even get to because I figured if I didn't get this right, why even bother to do that?
Yeah. So go database and then forward engineer. Okay, then go next. Then you want to do down at the bottom, drop objects before each create, and then generate drop schema.
Now this one was automatically in there. Should I take it off?
No, just leave it. I believe that's it. Okay, so hit next.
I have those instructions somewhere, but I didn't pull them up.
And then hit next. And then next. And it's creating the database for you. And hit close. Okay, so now go to your home button and click on the dolphin. Oh yeah, that works. No, go ahead and click on the local instances.
What?
And then on your left side in your schemas, you should have Salon. You can close AP, give you more room. And there you go, you have Salon. Okay, so now we are going to enter.
So that's what forward engineer means? I'm
What?
sorry. That's what forward engineer means, is that all those tables that you made, when you forward engineer it, it puts it in over here?
Yes, it turns it into a database. It takes your diagram and creates a database that follows your diagram.
Okay. I didn't really understand how that worked. Okay, then it won't.
You can do both. You can take an existing database and reverse engineer it, and it will create an ERD for you. Or you can take an ERD and forward engineer it, and it will create a database.
Okay.
Okay, so now we need to put all of the information that was from that Word doc into the Salon database.
Oh, I didn't copy and put it in a Word doc. I was supposed to.
You should have downloaded a Word doc. The instructions were a Word doc.
Oh, okay, hold on. Okay, instructions.
So that table that gave you all of the names of the different columns.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That's what you need.
Oh, I already had that open. Okay.
Okay, so if you look at the Salon data, it actually has data in there, and you need to put that data into your database by using insert statements.
Oh.
So this is going to be the long part of it.
Okay.
So first thing you want to do is you have to put it in order of least specificity. So go back to your EER diagram. They've got a tab of it up at the top. Go all the way up to the top.
Ah.
There. Okay, so if you look, you're wanting to look for things that don't refer to other things. So for instance, if you look at customer does not have any foreign keys. Location does not have any foreign keys. The foreign keys are pink. And the product does not have any foreign keys. You have to put those in first. Because then when you put in information that uses a foreign key, it has to already be referring to something.
Oh, so
we're going to put in the location and the customer and the product information first. And once those are all in, then you can add information into the transaction and the transaction detail.
Okay.
And the employee.
Well, shall we do customer first?
Sure, you can do customer first.
Okay.
I would actually just follow the Word document, which has location first, because that's going to keep you on track, like you're not going to get confused.
Okay.
I just wanted to show you the reason behind doing location first. You're doing location first because location doesn't have any foreign keys. You totally could do customer first or product first, but you could not do employee first because location has to be put in before employee can be put in.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so go back to your, there. Okay, and so the first thing we're going to do is insert into location.
Enter into, I'm sorry, what did you say?
Insert into.
Oh, that's right, okay.
Don't do underscore. It's just a space. Okay, and now the table that you're inserting into
Inserting it into location.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you went the wrong way. There you go. And then the next thing is going to be values. You need a list of values.
Okay, oh, this isn't a query, so we don't have to do from and where next, right?
Right, because it's not a select query, it's an insert. So the select, you have to put the from the table on the second line, but we're doing an insert into location, and that's the table. So now we need to put the values that we're going to insert into that table.
Insert.
So the values.
These are the values?
The values, if you have your Word document open, the first line, the first row, row 1, is what you're going to be inserting.
Oh, the 100 North Main Street, Suite 3, that?
Exactly, yes.
Okay.
So you need to put values.
Oops. And then do we have to put this in quotes?
It's in parentheses. Okay. So the first thing okay, hold on. We didn't do a list of columns. And so we have to put a value in for every single column. So the first column is the auto increment. And so we're going to put default in capital letters.
Okay, I didn't understand that.
So the first, you didn't, and you do now, or you still don't?
I don't understand why we're putting default here.
Okay, so if you look at the Word doc, the first column is location ID. Location ID is an auto increment column, so we don't want to put anything in there, but we have to put a value. So you have two choices. In your insert statement, you can put the list of values. On line 1, you could put in parentheses location ID, address 1, address 2, city, state, zip. Then it knows which columns you're going to be inserting into. But we're just going to leave that blank, and we're just going to put the values. And so for every column that there is in that Word document, we have to put a value. So the first value either needs to be null or default because we want it to auto increment.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Okay, so the first value is default. Then the next one is the 100 North Main Street. And it's going to be a string, so it needs to be in quotes.
That was my heater was so loud. It snowed here today.
Oh, is that good or bad?
It's good. We need moisture. We're always in a drought over here.
Yeah, we are too, but I'm not a fan of snow.
Agree.
So it needs a, wait, hold on. So you got to the end of the column, so you need to end that string. So after Main Street, period, then you need a quote mark and a comma.
Oh, because it's a new, okay. And then a quote.
Suite 3 is also a string, so you need a quote mark.
Okay.
And a quote mark and a comma. And then Rexburg, again, is a string. And state, oh wait, you forgot your close quote.
Oh, so each separate column has to have a separate.
Yes.
Okay.
Because you're putting in a string into that column, and so you have to enclose it in quotes. Okay, and then your zip, did you put as an integer or as a varchar?
I don't remember.
You can look at the ER diagram. So location you have as a varchar, so that needs to be in quotes as well.
If it was an integer, it didn't have to be in quotes.
Right, but there's no reason that you would ever be doing math on the zip code, so there's no need to have it be an integer. So you need a comma and then in quotes 83441. It needs to be a single quote. And then your closing parentheses. Okay, so now hold on. We need to talk for just a minute and make a decision. So you are going to need that default value, that location ID later. Yeah. So you have two choices. You can save that location ID into a variable and then use it later, or you can just use a select statement to get it later. And it just depends on what you'd prefer to do. They both are about the same amount of work. Why don't, for location, let's do it, save it into a variable so you can see how to do both. So that's going to be your whole statement. Go down to the next line. No, sorry, after the semicolon.
Oh.
Okay, so now you're going to do set at Rexburg. At is the at symbol.
Oh.
No, set is fine. And then put a space. And then at, and then Rexburg equals.
No space?
No, that's fine. Put a space. And then it's going to be last underscore. Oh, I can't remember what it's called. Hold on, let me look.
Value?
It's the last last insert ID.
Is this capital or do I just click this one?
Just click that one. Okay, so what that is saying is it auto-generated, okay, put a semicolon after the end of it. Okay, so what's happening is up in line 2, that default is being replaced by an ID number that's auto-incremented. Okay, so now we're saying take that last number that you auto-incremented and save it into the variable named at Rexburg. And so then later we can refer to it as at Rexburg, and it will give us the number of the location ID of Rexburg. Does that make sense?
Love you too. So let me explain what I think it is.
Okay.
So we have the location ID, but right now it's default. And we want it to link to this same table later.
Yes.
So we're going to use the at Rexburg as the thing that it's going to link to, because that's like the easiest thing to link it to.
Yes. So basically we're saving the number that was auto-incremented into the variable Rexburg. At Rexburg is a variable.
Okay.
And we're just saving the number that we just incremented, and we're putting it in that variable for later use.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes. So do we put something in there?
No. No. What it's doing is it's going and it's so inside your computer, inside MySQL Workbench, it keeps track of the next number. And so you're just going and asking MySQL, hey, what was that next number that you just put in?
So we leave the parentheses there then, because that's what's asking it?
Yes, because that last insert ID is a function that is going to then go and look at what the number was. So we don't give it anything. We just say, go look and find out.
Okay.
Okay, so now go down to the next row. Actually, go ahead and take 1 through 5, copy it, and paste it on row 6. Okay, so now do the second row for location table. So you're going to need to replace all of the values. So 100 North Main is now going to be 200 North Center Street. And then the next column is null.
Because it doesn't have a suite number.
Right. So no, you don't want to put the word null. You just want the null outside of quotation marks. So get rid of the quotes and put the keyword null. And then Rexburg is Rigby. And the zip is 83442. Okay, and now change your variable from Rexburg to Rigby. Okay, so now we're done with the locations. Go down a couple lines and let's start with the customer table. Okay, so this is going to be very similar. If you want to just copy and paste like 6, 7, 8, and then just put in new values, you could, or you can just type it out. That works too.
I'll just do what you said. That's easier.
Okay, but now we're changing location to customer. And then default will stay the same, but the rest of them need to change to the new information.
So it needs to be, let me look. You don't see when I pull up that Word document, right? You're still looking at my
No,
my
but
SQL
I have
page?
it open, so.
What?
I have it open so I can see it, but
Oh, okay.
I can't see yours.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it showed when I was sharing my screen or not, or if I have to pick it.
No,
Okay. So the customer ID, it's still default because it's auto increment, right?
Yes.
So the first one is what? Giano, however that is.
Bradford. You can copy the row and then paste it in, and then you have to go in and put all your quote marks in if you want to. It is. I couldn't decide if it was more trouble or less trouble.
What happened here? Why did it do that? Why is it doing that?
What is it doing? You need a quote mark, a close quote.
When I put the quote mark, it puts that dot under it.
That's your comma, isn't it?
No, my comma's right there.
I don't see a dot, but it's fine. Whatever, it looks good to me.
Okay. So yeah, let me do that. That way I don't have to keep toggling back and forth.
If you want, you can actually like grab all the rows. Okay, so put quotes around Bradford and make sure you put your commas afterwards.
Why is there a big space there?
Because it's got a tab instead of a space.
So is that a big space?
No, that one was fine, but. Okay, so you need a. Okay, so now we're gonna do it the other way for the customers. So at the end, okay, so is your phone number, look and see, did you do a phone number of an int or a varchar? You probably did a varchar.
I don't know. I don't know. Let
Go
me
to
go.
your ER diagram.
I remember being up in the air about that.
So customer, your phone number is a varchar. Okay, yeah, so it does need to be in quotes. Okay, so now just put a comma after the end of your parentheses. And then you're going to highlight all the way to the next parentheses. So don't include values, but include everything else. And copy it. Okay, and then just do a hard return and paste in the next row. Okay, so now if you want, you can go and grab every row for customer starting on line 2 and just copy the whole table and just paste it in right here.
Oops.
Okay, so you need default to still be there, but then you can replace Sandra with Gianna or for Gianna.
And I still have to put the parentheses in every one, right?
Yes.
Okay, let me just do that first so I don't forget them.
If you want to, an easier way of doing that is go to, because you're going to have to add default into all of those too.
Mm-hmm.
So if you just want to copy from the parentheses all the way to the first quote mark for Gianna and paste it in. Does that make sense? So on line 14, start at the parentheses and go all the way to the first quotation mark.
Like that?
Including the, well, now you don't need to include the parentheses, but yeah, right there, copy that. And now go to the right of the parentheses and just paste it. It should be Control V.
Yeah, I was just
For all the
confused which
rows.
side of the parentheses to do it on. You said right, but
Yeah, right there.
it doesn't like that one for some reason.
It's fine. It is not happy because you don't have closing parentheses.
Okay.
Okay, so then you need to get rid of line 14 now because you've got it twice and you're just replacing it. So every single one of those needs to have quotes all around it. So just go quote crazy. Yeah, quotes and commas. And then the end of each line needs to have a parentheses and a comma.
Oops. It doesn't like this one.
It's because you're missing commas at the end.
Oh. One more. I don't need a comma there, right?
Nope, you don't. Okay, so that should be good. So if you want to, you can go ahead and run those. Just run everything. Oh, you got an error. Oh, okay. So up at the very top in front of line 1, put use salon.
In front of line 1?
In front of line 1. So just hard return line 1 down. And then on line 1, put use salon. And it's going to be lowercase, salon is. Or, yeah, salon. There you go. And put a semicolon. And that's just telling it to use the salon database instead of the AP database. Okay, so now you should be able to do select all from location and select all from customer, and it will show you the information.
Where is that?
Do a select statement after line 21. And just say select all from location.
Oh, okay, that's how we get our table.
Yeah, don't do all, do the
The asterisk. There we go.
From location. Okay, and give it a semicolon and run that one. No, just run, use the other lightning bolt. There you go. Okay, so that did not work.
It doesn't. Why has it got null all in all of them?
Because it doesn't have anything in it. Okay, go down to your select statement. No, select all from location, that should work. Okay, so let's go down to the output and let's look at the output.
Where is output?
Down at the very bottom.
Oh, I moved this up.
Yeah, drag it up and let's see what it said. Okay, error code, table AP location doesn't exist. Okay, yeah, but we said use custom, use salon. Insert. And that says field location ID doesn't have a default. Oh, okay, so go to your ER diagram, and go to location, or double click on location. And you need to auto increment all your primary keys. So AI needs to be checked on location ID. Go to all of them and make sure that that's done.
Oh, okay. I understand now. I did that one. I don't have to auto increment product, right?
Yeah, you do.
Oh,
Every primary key you want to auto increment, unless your primary key is like the phone number or something, or a social security number. You wouldn't auto increment that, obviously.
I
But
didn't.
that one is, and that one is. Okay, so you're gonna have to forward engineer it again.
Oh, okay.
So go up to, yeah, database, forward engineer. Actually, we could just add it. It's gonna be easier just to forward engineer it though. And you want, okay, it's all good. Just hit next. And next. And next. Okay, close.
So am I gonna have to go back and fix my PNG?
No, because that won't show that. Your PNG is fine. Okay, so go, but you probably want to resave your ER diagram. So just do file save model. There you go. Now go back to the local instance. Okay, now run it again. Run the whole thing. Just hit the lightning bolt. Okay, so column address 2 cannot be null. Okay, so we need it to be able to be null. Go back to your ER diagram. Okay, so if you look on location address 2 needs to be able to be null. So double click location. And address 2, get rid of the not null. And then if you look at the Word document in employee, so double click on employee, the termination date needs to be nullable.
Oh, that's right, because some of them are still working.
Exactly. Okay, and then the email and phone number may not be unique, because what if you have a brother and sister that are working together, and well, I guess nowadays phone numbers are unique. So never mind, you're fine. Okay, so and then in product table, the unit size can be null. And I believe that's it. Okay, so now you're going to need to forward engineer again. So save it. We could add a foreign key restraint, but this is super easy, so let's just do it. You don't have any information in it yet, so at this point, it's easier just to drop it and regenerate it.
It shouldn't have to take so long. It only has to click, it only has to change a few things.
Well, but it completely deletes the database and completely creates a new one.
Okay.
Okay, so now run the whole thing. Hit the lightning bolt. Woohoo, it all worked. And you've got your 2 locations. So now on 26, do select all from customer and make sure those all worked.
Whoops. Oh, do I need a space?
Yes. Okay, so run just that one.
It worked.
Okay. So, and you've got all of those people. Okay, you're good. Now you're going to do the exact same thing, but you're going to do it for the employee table. And I'm going to go grab something to eat. So you work on that and I'll be back in just a minute.
Okay. Oops. Oh, what the heck happened there? Oh.
Okay, I'm back.
I'm still doing. You can go take a nap or something.
I need to post a video on Facebook, which I will probably do.
Okay. Oops, comma. Is this for class 2?
Yes.
Yeah, I hate it when they
The social media design class. I'm doing a bucket list for my dog.
That's funny.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah, I didn't really like the public speaking class, but it's over with.
Yeah, that doesn't sound very fun. Who did you have to speak in front of?
We had to find groups. They gave us so we had to get ourselves we had to come up with a subject, and they kind of gave us a topic to make our thing around. And then we had to write our own little talk thing, and then we made it into a PowerPoint first and shared it. And then after they thought it was good, then we had to make a presentation, and we just had to find our own groups of people. And I hate bugging people, so that's why.
Yeah, that's hard.
I hate bugging people. That's why I am so thankful for you.
Well, you're welcome.
What happened with this? How come it's not liking it?
Oh, so your date doesn't have an end quote.
There you go. Thank you.
Also, they said the dates had to go in with slashes instead of dashes.
Oh, really? Okay.
That's what it said on the main page of the homework.
I'm glad you remember that stuff, because they give us so much stuff to do. I don't remember it.
Yeah, there's a lot of details.
Okay, where was I? Oops. Okay. If I left those big spaces in there, would it matter?
No.
So I can just leave those gigantic tabs in?
I mean, they're tabs. It's not great to leave them in, but it's not a big deal. I would just leave them.
Okay. That's taking a long time. At least doing it this way, you remember where you're supposed to put your commas in your quote.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. What's the matter, doggy? I don't have time to walk you right now. She's back in the house again. We took her stitches out yesterday and they ripped open last night.
Oh.
So I have 10 more days. Okay, we did employee. We've done. Do we have to do a select statement?
Yeah, go ahead and do, okay, it's unhappy because, let's see. Oh, you need the opening quotes on all those.
I'm still upset with this one. Well, we shall see. Oh, it worked. It doesn't, it's got an X here and an X there, but it doesn't like, but it gave me a table.
Okay, so let's see. Oh, your null doesn't have a comma after it.
It still doesn't like my select statement. I don't know why.
That's because, it doesn't like null for the termination date. Let's look at, oh, on 32, null should not be in quotes.
Oh, good job. Still doesn't like it. Darn it.
Okay, line, let's see, go to your select all from employee. Oh, you need select all from employee, not just select from employee.
Oh. There we go. Not select 8. I always do that. Okay.
Okay, run it again.
All better.
There you go. Okay, so now you're going to do the product. Same thing. Oh, wait a second. Okay. Go to, okay, at the bottom, wait, go back to the other thing. And right underneath your select all from employee, I want you to do delete from employee.
Why are we doing that?
Because I forgot to tell you to do something on the employee thing, and they're wrong. Okay, run that.
But it's going to delete everything.
From your employee table, yes. And then we're going to add it back in.
Okay.
Okay, so instead of, you keep like running the whole thing and it's freaking out because it's like, I already added this. You can't do that.
Okay.
So just run. So just use the lightning bolt with the cursor over it. Okay, and now do the select all from employee. Okay, awesome. Okay, now let's go back up to your employee insert statement. So that last one the 1 or the 2, well, that's your location ID. And you can't just put in 1 and 2, because what if you delete all your locations and then add them again? The 1 and 2 are not going to be the right numbers. So instead, what we have to do is we have to do, remember we put our locations into those variables. So wherever it says 1, change it to @Rexburg.
Oh, that's right. So it knows where to get it from.
Don't put it inside quotes though.
Let me see what we did up here. We don't have to do the set?
No, you did that up above. The setting puts it into the variable. Now you're just using the variable.
Ah.
Okay, and the number 2s are going to be @Rigby.
The first 3 were 1s?
Yeah. You didn't get rid of your starting quote mark.
I'm just going to type this one.
Okay. Now run that insert statement again. And then run the select statement. Okay, and see, look, your location ID is 13 and 14. If you had put in 1, then that would have actually been a mistake. So do select all from, go up and run your select all from location. Oh, what in the world? Okay. That's a problem.
Well, some of them didn't have address 2, right?
Say that again.
Oh, I see. Some of them didn't have a second part to their address, but I'm sure all these aren't suite 3, right?
So if you look, you have the same information added like 7 times.
Yeah.
So what happened is when you ran the main lightning bolt and it ran the whole thing, it re-added those locations. So ideally you would have a unique constraint for the entire address. But we're not going to worry about that right now. So just
we can't fix it up there and like just run each one and see if it fixes it.
So what you need to do is you need to delete every table. So you need to do delete. First, we need to delete from employee.
Okay, we got that one.
But go ahead and run it. Okay, then we need to delete from, wait, did you hit, what happened?
I don't know.
Did you hit the whole lightning bolt or just the one lightning bolt?
The one.
Yeah, it's okay. So every time you hit that, the lightning bolt, it's adding 2 more to the location. It's running every single thing that you've written so far. So you can't ever use the whole lightning bolt. You have to use that lightning bolt so that it only does 1. Okay, so now you want to delete everything from location.
What am I doing?
Okay, run that one. Okay, and then you need to delete everything from customer. See, look, you deleted 63 rows. So every time you hit the main lightning bolt, it runs every single query. And because you don't have a unique constraint stopping you from adding the same person twice, it just keeps adding more and more and more and more.
Okay. So what happens if we delete all these now to get them off? Will it mess it up again?
So you can get rid of those delete statements.
And then go back and run each one individually?
Yes. Uh-huh. Okay, so it said one row is affected. Yeah, that's great. Okay. Actually, sorry. What you need to do, basically, it just set Rexburg. So instead, highlight rows 1 to 12. Okay, and now run those. Okay, so now do select all from location and see if you have anything in your location.
Do I need make a new one, or can I just use the one down there?
Sure, you can use the one down there, or you can make another one. It doesn't matter. Okay, it didn't add the Rigby one. So
should I just go to each semicolon, try to and run it and see if it puts it in there?
you know what I would do is I would delete from location again, and then just run the whole program. So do a delete from location.
And can I run it from here?
Well, you need to type in delete from location, and then you can run it.
Why are we deleting it from location?
Because we're just going to run the whole thing that you've written so far so that it will all run. So just do delete from location.
Oops.
Okay, run that one. Okay, now delete that one. Delete lines 43 through 45. And run the whole thing. Hit the main lightning bolt. Okay. So you have, so insert into, okay, so it inserted. If you look down at your output and scroll up to line 104. Okay, so starting with line 104, we inserted the Rexburg one and one row was affected. Then we inserted into the Rigby one and one row was affected, so that worked. And we set the last insert ID. Okay, and then now scroll down. Okay, and then you insert it into the customers, 7 rows, and you insert it into the employees, 5 rows. And so you should only have 5 rows in the employees, which you do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so do go to the bottom of your chart. So go up to the main section, up to the main section and scroll down and do select from customer. Just change employee to customer. Or that works. Select all from customer. And just make sure that it's got the right number. Okay, run just that one. And we have the right amount of customers. Woohoo, we're back to square one. Okay, so now go down to line 46. And now we're going to do the product. Did we already do the product?
No, because that's where I got messed up.
Okay, so we've done the customer, we've done the employees, we've done the location. So now you're going to do the product. And product doesn't have anything that's referring to anything else, so you can just go ahead and insert it.
Okay, let me look at my thing. Product is products are auto increment, so I can leave the defaults there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's what I want.
I don't know how to do that. Okay. Come on. Okay, should I run that?
Okay, so let's look at it real quick before you run it. Okay, so you're inserting into product, right? And you've got the default. So your price? Look at your ER diagram and make sure, did you put your price? It should probably have been as a decimal.
Yeah, I think I did.
So it does not need quotation marks.
Oh, okay.
Go back to the local instance salon. There you go.
So all these quotation marks need to be gone?
Yeah. Sorry, I should have caught that before, but I wasn't looking.
Okay. I learned that way. You had just told me, I might have forgot.
There you go.
Yeah. Oops, one more. Does that look good now?
Yes. Okay, so go ahead and just run that one, not everything.
Right here.
Okay, then I inserted it. You got 4 warnings. It truncated the price.
Where do you see those? Oh, I see.
So go ahead and look at, just do a select all from product.
I don't know, it looks good.
Okay, so, yeah.
What is?
Oh, no, look, so your decimal points got cut off.
Oh, they sure did. What does truncated mean?
Truncated
Oh,
means the
that's what
decimal
that means
points
when
got cut
they
off.
cut off the decimal. Okay. Why did
So
it?
what we need to do, okay, so go back to your ER diagram. So you have decimal, but it's supposed to be, so click on product, double click on product.
Oh, what happened? Okay.
Okay, and that, put in parentheses, you need decimal with a parentheses. So put parentheses and then 9,2.
And what does that mean?
The 9 is saying you can have 9 total numbers, and the 2 is saying you're going to have 2 decimal point values.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and hold on, let me just double check how to change.
Do I have to do that in here? It'll change it if I forward engineer my EER again, right?
You can, but I just want to see how hard it will be to. Okay, so So what I want you to do, go back to your local instance and do down at the very bottom, do alter table, product, and then on the next one, drop column price. Okay, and put a semicolon and run that. Okay, and now on the next row, do alter table column or alter table product. And do add price, except for make price lowercase. And then put decimal parentheses 9,2. Don't have a space in between them.
Okay.
And then put a semicolon and run that one. Okay, and now do delete from product.
I don't know what I just did.
It's got a C instead of a D. Product is spelled wrong. Okay, run that one. Okay, so now get rid of line 63 through 70. Okay, and now run that insert into products thing again. Okay, and now select all from product. Okay.
That's better.
All right, so now you're going to do the transaction table.
Okay. I'm just going to copy all this first.
What's that?
I'm just going to copy all of it first.
Yeah, that's fine.
Put it in there. Okay. So we need to do.
Okay, so now we're gonna have to get just a little bit tricky. So the first one is default. So 1 is gonna be your default value, so leave that. The next one is the employee ID.
Oh, these ones I didn't have to put in there, did I?
No, but that's okay. Just leave them there for now.
Okay.
Okay, so up on line 65 or 64, your next one is going to be, you have to select the employee ID from employees. So put a parentheses, open close parentheses, and put a close parentheses for your values. So you have 2 sets of closed parentheses so you don't forget to put them in. You got the opening one, you need the closing one.
Like that?
Okay, no. So you have the opening one already.
Side of values?
Right there, you only need one there. But at the very end, you need to close that parentheses.
Oh.
There you go. Okay, now inside the parentheses, we're going to do a subquery, a select statement. So we're going to do select employee ID. From employee.
Do I do it in the same thing or do I go to the next row?
So I would make it all on one line. And then you need a where.
Do I need to put a comma after that?
Nope.
Okay.
So where employee, where first name, first name, whatever you named employee first name. You need to be on the employee. So emp first name. Equals, and what was the first person you put into employees? Go up to your employees insert statement and see what the first person's first name is.
That's Gina or something.
I think it is Gianna. No, that's customer. You need employees. Employees is after customers. Okay, Jenny.
I don't have to put the quotes around Jenny, do I?
You need the quotes, yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so there's your select statement. Put a comma after it inside the parentheses, inside the second parentheses. Okay, and now you have to do a select statement for the customer ID. Okay, so on line 64, you've got default comma, then do a hard return. And space it in 4 times. Okay, and then after your comma, at the end of there, you're going to do another hard return. Okay, and we need to do another subquery. So now we have to find the customer name. So back up, okay, now do an opening and closing parentheses. Okay, and inside of it, we're going to do another subquery, select customer ID. From customer. Where the customer first name
Make sure that's what I called it.
Okay, just first name.
I just put first name.
See if you look on customer, first name. Okay, and you're wanting to do, it's 7, so the 7th person. It might be easier to look at your document, your Word document, because the customers are numbered.
Why do we need 7? Like, why couldn't we?
Because, okay, so if you look on line 68, that is the line that we're putting in. So we're going to have the default ID number. Then the next number 1 is the employee ID. So the employee that is number 1. And then the next one is the customer ID. So the customer, that's number 7. So the 7th customer that we've added, that's what we're needing to put in. So go look at you can look there under customer, it's going to be up further. Or you can look at the Word doc and look at the 7th customer.
That's faster. Jose Mendez.
Okay, so you could use first name. Probably email is going to be more specific. So if you want to do that, and honestly, with the employee, again, the email is going to be more specific than the first name because you might have 2 employees that have the same first name, but it's unlikely they're going to have the same email address.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Or phone number.
So we're going to put where email equals
Yes.
instead.
Or you could do where first name is this and last name is that. Any of those will work.
Yeah, but there's got to be more than one Jose Mendez. So
Probably.
I'm just going to ignore it.
Okay, and then, so that's the 3rd column. Now we need to do the 4th column. So inside your parentheses, you're going to put a comma. Is that your phone or do you have a pet?
No, it's my phone. That's my ringtone. It doesn't, sometimes it gives me the option to decline, but that one didn't, and it's my mother-in-law, and she always wants to talk a long time, so. Okay, so I need another set of quotes right there. I mean, parentheses.
Okay, so our last one, we're just putting in a date. So that's not referring to another column, so we can just put in the date inside a string with slashes. So do a hard return. And then just put the date in quotes with slashes. Okay, and now you have finished the first line, put a comma, and go down to the next line and do quotes again.
And go down to the next line.
Hit your hard return.
Quotes again.
And now do a new set of quotes. This is the 2nd set of values. Your 2nd row. Sorry, I said quotes and I meant parentheses. Okay, and actually, why don't you copy all the way from the first quote, the yellow quotes, copy from the first one all the way past the comma. And then go down a line and paste it.
Do I need that? I don't need that.
Yep, right there. You can paste it right there. Okay. So now you're doing the 2nd set. So if you look, okay, so you're going to need to change 69 and 70. You need to change the first name and the email. So if you go down below 72.
Oh, okay.
Close your the output and the product, or like squish it down so that you can see more of what you're working with.
This?
Yeah.
Close it. How do I close it?
Will it not let you close it?
I don't know how to close it.
I don't actually either.
I don't know what I just did, but anyway. I tried to move it, and that's as far as it'll go.
Interesting. Okay, well then just scroll up. So, so you did row 1, which is on 75, I believe. Okay, go down. Okay, you did row 1, so now you're on row 2. So your customer ID is going to be number 1, which is the same, so you can just keep it Jenny. And your...
Okay, but we didn't put in the 1 or the 7 yet in this default statement.
Okay, so, okay, yes. So what we did was the second number 1, that is referring to Jenny. And so we put in this subquery that selects Jenny instead. Okay. So it's going to go to the employee table, and it's going to find Jenny, and it's going to get the employee ID from Jenny, and it's going to put it in right here as the second number.
So I can delete all this then?
You can. Okay, so now we're on row 2. And the employee ID is 1, which is Jenny again. So you can leave Jenny, but the customer ID is 6. So you need to figure out which customer, get the email address for customer 6.
Okay. And
replace up on line 70, you're going to replace the email address.
I'm going to take this out and put that one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't know. I like, before I do it, if I take this out, isn't it going to like make it not connect to Jose Mendez?
Okay, so remember, this is why I want you to get rid of those 2 bottom sections. We're on the second set of queries now. So scroll up. Okay, so from 64 to 67 is Jose. Now we're trying to get number 6, which is Karen.
I forgot I had done that.
Okay, and then you need to put the date in for the second one, which is the same date, so you can just leave it.
Okay. And then I can delete.
You can get rid of that row, and you can get rid of row 74 too to give you more space.
Okay.
Okay, so now you're going to copy all the way up to the parentheses, up to the default, and paste it again. And now you're going to replace Jenny and that email with the next set of people. So go down to line 78 or whatever. Okay, and so we need employee number 2.
3 and 2.
The first name.
Okay, 3 is Ryan.
Okay, no. 3 is, okay. 3, that's your auto-incremented transaction ID. We don't need that. What we need is the next one. 2.
Customer 2. Is
employee number 2, not customer.
Oh. Haley.
And then we need customer number 5.
Customer number 5. Where would I put that? In the email?
Uh-huh. Okay, so now you need to do the next row.
Is that the right date?
Get rid of row 79 because you've inputted it. Now we're going to do row 4 or row 80. So the first number is the auto increment ID. So the next number is the employee ID. So we need the number 3 employee and the number 4 customer.
So I'm going to copy all this and do it again.
You did that already, didn't you, or did you not?
We did Haley and then her address. Now we need the next one, right?
Yes. Okay, line 74 is wrong because that should be a customer and you've got an employee email address.
I do?
Yep. So you have Davis, and Davis is number 5. You need number 5 customer.
I would have never caught that. Okay.
Okay, so now we need number 3 employee. And we need number 4 customer.
And the date is still the same.
Yep. Okay, so now you've got one last transaction.
Okay. I need employee number 4, customer number 3.
Yep.
Number 4. Customer number 3. The reverse engineering is a lot harder.
This isn't reverse engineering. You're just inputting information. There's easier ways, but not from a Word doc. So,
Okay, so this one's done too.
okay, so get rid of that and then change your comma to a a semicolon. And you should be able to go ahead and run that one. And there's column count doesn't match value count at row 1.
What? At row 1?
Okay, no, sorry. Go up to the top of the insert statement. Okay, so into product. Oh, okay, that's the problem. We're not inserting into product, we're inserting into transaction.
Oh, that's right. I copied it and pasted it and forgot to change it.
Change your capital T to a lowercase t. Actually, I think transaction's a keyword, but it should work anyway. So, okay, so go ahead and run that query. Duplicate entry. Oh, okay. Hold on. Okay, so we need to do so what's happened is you put a unique key constraint on your foreign key, and that is not going to work. So what you need to do is you need to do an alter statement. So go down to the bottom, and you're going to do alter table transaction. And then drop index. And then you're going to put in the index that's down at the bottom in your error thing, the employee dash ID dash, sorry, underscore unique, that one.
It's not going to let me do that. Okay.
So just employee underscore ID underscore, and then in caps, unique. Okay, and give it a semicolon. It's not happy. Oh, it should not be in quotes. Okay, and now run that one. Cannot drop. Index employee ID unique needed in a foreign key constraint. What? Okay.
Do I have to go back and look at my EER?
Hold on.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so we're gonna do, so in your transaction, go to the transaction. No, sorry, go back to the ER diagram and go to the transaction table and go double click on transaction, not transaction detail, transaction. It's the table to the left.
Oh.
Okay, and yeah, see how you have your two foreign keys or unique constraints? They can't have unique constraints because the foreign key is going to be duplicated. Okay, so I think, okay, go back to your regular thing, your local instance. Okay, and in front of the alter table transaction, do drop foreign key. Hold on, let me find it. And then you need to give it the name that you gave it. So it's going from transaction. So transaction underscore employee.
Whatever I called it before.
It's employee underscore FK. Underscore FK. Okay, and then just give it a semicolon. And it's not happy. Okay, hold on. Oh, that needs to be in quotes, the transaction. Still not happy. Okay. You may have to forward engineer the whole thing again. So get rid of that. Okay, and go back to your EER diagram. And number one, double check all your foreign key constraints to make sure that they are not unique. Okay, that's good. And then employee has one.
Employee has one.
So double click on employee. And so get rid of, okay, no, you're good. Okay, so now you're gonna have to forward engineer it again. So go to database, forward engineer, next.
Should I try to
Just run the whole program. You hit the lightning bolt.
run everything?
Yep. Customer ID cannot be null. Okay, so we are in. So we're in the insert into transactions. So it all worked up until transactions. And customer ID cannot be null. Okay, so customer ID from customer where email equals. So take that, take the first select customer ID from customer where. Okay, on line 74, you're going to copy everything inside the parentheses. And then go down and paste it. And give it a semicolon and run it. Okay, so that should not be null. Look at on line 137. Take the, so actually, yeah, oh, hover over that and see what it said.
It just repeated everything that we have in there.
Yeah. Customer ID cannot be null, or shouldn't be null. Does it say which one it errored on?
Let me see. No, it doesn't say.
So I'm guessing that one of these is, now look at line 78. Do you see what's wrong?
I don't see a problem. I don't know.
Okay, look at the customer ID. Look at find the customer ID for the customer that has adamso@salon.com email. Look on the Word document.
Okay.
So find the customer that has the email address adamso@salon.com.
There's not one.
There's not one. That's why it's entering a 0 or trying to enter null. So that's the wrong customer email.
Okay, but
That's the employee email instead of the customer email. So Adams is number 4. So go get the number 4 email address for the customer.
I don't understand because last time I did that, it was wrong.
But on line 78, you did not put in a customer email. So when it goes to the customer email database or the customer table and it tries to find that email, it's going to come up with nothing. Okay, try to run it now.
Oh, I did take it from the employee table. Darn, I gotta stop doing that. Okay.
There you go. The thing that makes programming so dang hard is everything has to be exact. You can't make a mistake. If you make a mistake, the whole thing blows up in your face.
Yeah.
So, okay. So you have your transactions done, and now all you have left to do is your transaction detail.
Okay, let's see if I can do this one without messing it up.
And actually,
It's just all numbers.
okay, you know what we're going to do? Go in and do delete from transaction. On just like line 85, do delete from transaction. Give it a semicolon and run it. Okay, so the reason we did that, I want you to look at the Word file.
Okay.
And look at the transaction detail table. So we are going to have to get the transaction ID, but we have to do it with a subquery for the select statement. And if you look at the transaction table, there's nothing that we're going to be able to get it from. We've got the employee ID and the customer ID and the transaction date. That is going to be just a nightmare to do a subquery that has to get all of those things. So instead, we are going to nest these inside our, we're going to insert the transaction and then the transaction details right after it. Because that way we can get the transaction ID without any trouble. Okay, so go up to the top of this insert statement. Okay, so after line 67, change that to a semicolon, or get rid of the comma and go down a line and put a semicolon. But get rid of the comma that's on 67. Okay, so, and then do a couple hard returns so that the next one is down a few lines. Okay, but put the semicolon up on line 68. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to right here insert into transaction details. So while we have the transaction ID fresh, we're going to use it. Okay, so go down a row. Okay, and now look at your transaction detail table on the Word doc, and anything that has a transaction ID of 1, copy those rows and paste them in right here.
A transaction ID of 1, you said?
Yes. So there's 2 rows. So take those first 2 rows with a transaction ID of 1 and just paste them in on line 71. Okay, so we're going to do a values. And then parentheses. And the first number is the transaction detail ID, which is going to be a default number. The next one is going to be last underscore insert ID. That one with the, and then it needs, yeah, that one. Okay. So then after that, put a comma. And now we need the product ID of 1. So now we're going to have to do a subquery. So we need to do in parentheses. And we need to do a select statement that's going to get the product ID of 1. So select product ID from product where, and then look at your product table and figure out what is unique. So you could say the name is shampoo and the unit size is 8 ounces. Or you could say where the name is shampoo and the price is $4.95 because there's 3 shampoos.
I see, from product. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to figure out what we just did.
Okay, so you need to put in the product ID for the first product, but we don't know what that product ID is because we auto incremented it. It could be 1, it could be 65.
Okay.
So we need to look at the first product we entered and find out what's unique so that we can tell it which row to look at. So if you look at the product table in the Word doc and you look at the first product, what is unique about that first product?
I'll have to call you back. I'm sorry. What is unique about that first product? Well, there's a lot of unique ones. There's color, perm.
But we're looking for the first product. The first product is shampoo. It's a product. It is 8 ounces and it's $4.95.
Yeah. So I guess 8 ounces, right?
The 8 ounces is unique, but no, it's not because the hairspray is 8 ounces. So you're going to have to use 2 things. I would do the name and the unit size. So I would say where name equals shampoo and unit size equals 8 ounces. You need a single quote, and I'm guessing that you did the shampoo is capitalized, so put the capital S. There you go. And you could do the price or you could do the unit size.
Units, I'll do unit size.
Okay.
I'm just looking to see what I called it. I'm not sure what I called it.
and it's going to be in quotes, and it's going to have a space between the 8 and the OZ, probably.
Yeah, I just looked at it. Okay.
Okay, so that's the number 1. Now we need to do the number 2, which is the quantity. So you can just do comma 2.
Right here?
Mm-hmm. Okay, and now get rid of those, the 1 and the 2.
And that too, do I need to put
That 2 is the 2. It's the quantity of number of shampoos that they bought. And
so
now you need a close parentheses after the 2.
I don't have to do quotes?
No, because it's a number, because it's an integer.
Oh, that's right. You told me that. Okay.
Okay, so now you have the first one done. Now you need to do this second one. So you can probably just from default on, just copy that whole thing.
This one?
Mm-hmm. Although, I mean, it's up to you. You'll learn it faster if you type it all out, but I don't know if you want to type it all out or not.
Well, because I'll have to keep toggling back and forth to remember what I did. Okay.
Okay, so we are putting in the last insert ID. So we have the first thing is the transaction detail ID, which is default. The next one is the transaction ID, which is that last insert ID. Then the third one is product number 6. So we've got the subquery, select product ID from product where the name equals, and now look at number 6.
Number 6 is men haircut.
Okay, so change shampoo to men haircut, and there's only one men haircut, so you don't need the unit size.
And this 2 has to be a 1?
Yes. Okay, and then change the comma to a semicolon. Actually, just get rid of the comma. And then get rid of line 73. And there you go. Okay, so now let's just make sure you understand what we just did. So on line 63, we inserted the first transaction.
Mm-hmm.
And the transaction ID is that default number. We don't know what it is, but we need it for the transaction details. So we inserted the transaction details right after the transaction because then we can use that last insert ID function that grabs the last default number, the last auto-incremented number. And so now we have the transaction number 1 with all of the transaction details of number 1. And then now we're going to go and do the next transaction. And again, use the default last inserted ID. Does that make sense?
Yes. Let me check and see where that 1 comes from again. Is that the employee ID?
No.
That's the
The
quantity.
transaction details.
Yeah, that's the quantity then, right?
Right, exactly.
Need that. Okay.
Okay, so now on line 76, well, line 75, get rid of that extra semicolon. And line 75, we're going to do an insert into transaction again. So you need to do insert into transaction and then values. Not that one, it's the one above it. On line 63 and 64. There you go. So put that in on line 75. Okay. No, you've already got the parentheses. on line 77. So get rid of that parentheses you just put. And take line 77 and bring it up to 76.
There we go.
There we go. Okay, so now we have the second transaction. So go down to line 79 and get rid of the comma. And go down the line and put a semicolon. Okay, and now go down a line and we're going to insert the transaction details again. So we have inserted the second transaction and now we're going to put all the transaction details for that transaction before we go on. So
we
go
had to do, hold on, I'm confused. So we had to use all of this information again so that we can tell it what to do for the next one?
So this is the second transaction. So it's a little bit different, but it basically is grabbing the right employee ID and the right customer ID. And we're creating a row in our transaction table. And then after we're done with that one row, then we're going to insert all the details into the transaction details table that go along with it. And the reason we have to do that is because we need to get the transaction ID that's on line 76 before it changes, because we don't know what number it is. So before that auto increment changes numbers, we can use it elsewhere.
Okay.
So now we're going to do insert into transaction details.
This transaction is going to be transaction details, right?
Uh-huh.
What did I call it? I did it this way. And then I have to do we don't have to do values because it's already up here.
No, you do have to do values. Okay, now that default is for another transaction. So do a hard return a couple times to get that out of your way. Okay, so now we're going to do, go to the transaction details table on your Word doc and grab anything that has a transaction ID of 2.
Of 2?
Of 2, yes.
Now, how did you know that we needed number 2?
Because this is the second transaction. So if you scroll up, on line 70, nope, up even further. On line 63, that's our first transaction. So that's going to have a transaction ID of 1. And then we did all the details that had to do with that transaction. So now we're on transaction 2. So on line 75, we've inserted another transaction, and now we're doing the details for that transaction. And that's the second transaction, so it's going to have a transaction ID of 2.
Oh, okay, I see.
Okay, so after the values,
put in, there's like 8 of them, huh?
there are, yeah, there's 8 of them.
Goodness.
But there's 5 transactions, so we're doing transaction number 2 right now. Wait, what is this that you have put in here? Okay, line 83, those values are the wrong values. You got them from the transaction table, not the transaction details table.
Anything that has a transaction ID of 2, right? That's what you said?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the first one's going to be a default value. The second one is this transaction ID of 2, but we can't just put 2 in. We have to put the last insert ID. So put last underscore insert.
Now, where is that? Like, where is that getting that from?
Inside MySQL, it keeps track of what it just inserted. And it can grab it by using the last insert ID.
Oh, okay. I don't have to put, I do have to put a comma.
Oh, you know what? Actually, I don't think that's gonna work. Okay. Is that gonna work?
I don't know, you run it on the first couple and see.
The problem is we're putting a default in right in front of it, which means that the last insert ID is going to be the one we just inserted. Hold on, let me just look and see if I am up in the night or if I am not.
Okay, we're still on. Where are we at? Employee, customer, product, transaction details.
Oh no, it says it works. Okay. I think we're good, but let me just look at mine and make sure it worked. Why are you not opening? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh, it works. Okay, good. The way we're doing it works. Okay. Select product ID for product where, okay, and you're wanting to get product number 9. So look at product number 9. And what's unique about it? The name is unique, so you can just do the name.
Perm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I need something with the 1, right? Where perm equals.
Where name equals perm.
So where are we getting the word name from?
Well, it's the name of the column.
Okay.
So it's going to go to the product table. It's going to look at the name column. It's going to find the row that has perm in it, and it's going to get the product ID from that row.
Okay.
So perm needs to be in parentheses, sorry, in quotation marks. And then you need a close parentheses, and that takes care of the number 9, and then the 1 is just a 1. So you just need a comma and then the 1. Because that's the quantity. And then you need a close parentheses and a comma, and then you're going to do that second row.
So do we need values again, right? Or no?
You don't need values, but you do need default. Go in like 4 spaces. And then you're going to do the last insert ID again. You need a comma. And then your select statement up above on 83, it needs parentheses around it.
This one?
Yep. It has a close parentheses, but it needs an open. It already has the close.
1,
So on line 84,
2, 2. Okay.
you need the open, always do your open and close parentheses before you start so that you don't forget to put them.
Okay.
And then, so you need a close parentheses, and then you're going to need another close parentheses. There you go. Okay, so inside the parentheses, you got your select statement.
Okay. Man.
And you're looking for product number
3?
Yes.
Product number 3, conditioner. That's unique. There's no other conditioners.
Okay, so go ahead and put in quotes for name equals conditioner.
And so that should be right then, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now it doesn't like our other default statement.
Okay, do you have a semicolon? Okay, so it's missing the insert into part of it. Basically, we had one big insert statement, and now we're breaking it up into 5 different insert statements. So you need the insert into transaction values to make it happy again. Okay, and we're going to go just down to the next default, that next comma on the end of 91, and get rid of the comma and change it to a semicolon. Okay, and then now we're going to put another insert into transaction details. Is there any for number 3? Go to the transaction detail table. See if transaction ID 3 has any rows.
Yeah.
Okay, so grab that one. And we're going to insert into transaction details.
Right here?
Right there.
And then we have to put the word values here, don't we?
Yes.
Yeah, default, select employee ID. Okay, I don't know what to do after this. I just blinked. I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay, so
I know we have to do the same thing we just did up there, but
yeah, but the details that you have there, those are for the next transaction. So put those down like 3 or 4 rows so that they're out of your way. Okay, so we need to put our values in. So you first need to get the values. What values do you need to put into this row? Remember, we're on transaction number 3.
that's them, right? Except the first one's a default.
Yes, the first one is a default. It needs to be in parentheses. Make sure you have it open and close. Okay, and then after the default, the next one is going to be the transaction ID, which we're going to grab the last inserted ID.
So
Last insert ID.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Last underscore insert underscore ID.
Oh, that's right. Darn it. I keep forgetting about that.
Okay, so the next one is going to be the select statement, the subquery. So you need a comma. And then you're going to have parentheses. And inside that, you're going to do a select statement that's going to get you product number
8.
Yep.
Color. That's going to be from the products table?
Yeah, no, yeah, so it's, yeah, select the product ID from product.
Where, let me see. Where name equals color?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Is it capitalized? It is. Did you hear that?
I'm not paying attention. It needs to be in parentheses or quotes.
Oh, there it is.
And then you need the last value. There you go. And then you need a semicolon, get rid of those numbers. Okay, so now you have another insert into transaction on 98.
We're doing transaction details still, right?
Now you're going to do a transaction. You're alternating. You're doing a transaction and then the transaction details, then the transaction, then the transaction details. So you just finished transaction details. So now you're going to do a transaction.
So I can copy all this and just change the stuff, right?
The transaction, you already have all the information for it. So just do the insert into transaction values and just paste it at the beginning of 98. No, so copy 87 down to 88, just to the parentheses, not including the parentheses, copy it, and then paste it on to 98. Okay, but now on 101, that goes with that. So take the beginning of 101 and put it up on 98. There you go. Okay, and go to the comma on 101 and change that to a semicolon and go down a couple. Okay, and now you're going to put in the transaction details. You can highlight the whole thing down to 95, and then you'll just need to change the last two things. So we're on transaction number 4. So go to the transaction details and see which ones are number 4. Transaction ID.
How did you keep up with that? I don't even remember how many we put in. We should have put in.
If you want, you can go in and just put a comment. So on 62, you would put #1.
Yeah, let's do that because that way I can keep track.
And then on 74, put #2. And then the next transactions. So on 86, pound 3.
And that's where we're at right now?
That's where we're at right now. So now on line 105, go to the Word doc and see how many have a transaction ID of 4. There's 2 of them, so you're going to need to have 2 rows inserted.
Okay. So I can still use all the same, right?
But so the first 2 things are the same. And then the next thing you need to change it so that it's product number 7.
Women haircut?
What's that?
It's women haircut.
Yes.
And that's unique, so I don't need anything else, right?
Right.
And that number is 1. What did I just do? I just did that. Okay. And the next one,
So you can copy the default all the way to the 1. Make sure you give it a comma. And then you're going to need to change your where.
where to, for shampoo, and that's the one that repeats. Here, shampoo. Where shampoo equals whatever ounces.
So, and yeah, where. So, and you need an and then unit size equals.
What is wrong with me today? Unit size equals 16 ounces.
Yeah, but it's not going to be separated by a space. It's probably an underscore. Unit size. And it's probably going to be all lowercase.
Oh, because I have to do whatever I did here, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Now we have to use the different ounces on that, right? Oh no, we have to use whatever this says? No.
But what is the unit size? And unit size should not be in quotes.
Okay. Well, there's 2 unit sizes, and there's an 8 ounce and a 16, and we already used the 8 ounce. So we're going to use a 16?
Probably.
Well, that's what it says on
So it's number what? It's
number 2. That's what it
oh,
says
yeah,
on
so it's
there.
going to be 16 ounces.
Okay. And that one's in quotes? I mean, yeah, quotes.
Yep.
And this number is 1 still. Mm. What do I do here? It's the same thing, right?
Yeah. Okay, so
Because that's all the stuff that we put in before, so that stays, right? Okay.
yep, all the way to there. And now we're going to do the transaction details.
I'm just going to copy all this.
Number 5 only has one, so you only need one row.
Okay, we're on number 5. And there's only one row with 5 in it.
Yeah.
Okay, select.
So you need to get rid of the comma and that 118 and you should be done. But now you're going to have to go through and insert each one. So
I'm going to have to get rid of which comma?
So on 117, the end,
Okay.
change that to a semicolon. And then get rid of line 119.
I don't need these because we already used them?
Yeah. Didn't you already use them?
I didn't just now.
You didn't?
No.
The last one, product 6, is a men haircut. Oh, okay. So, yeah. So just change women haircut to men haircut. And now you can get rid of 119. And now you need to insert all of those statements. So go up to, I think it's on line 63. So just each one of those you're going to have to insert. You have like 10 different statements you have to do.
10 statements. I thought we were done when we got to the bottom of transaction detail table.
Right, but you haven't inserted any of these. You haven't run any of the insert into transactions. So click on line 63 and do the lightning bolt, the cursor lightning bolt.
Oh, okay.
And then go to 73 and run the cursor lightning bolt again. And just go through to the end and do, oh wait, it said it didn't work. Transaction details does not exist. Oh, it's transaction detail, not details. So on 70 and on every one after that.
Why would they do that to us?
Well, it's always, you always want it singular. That was just us saying it wrong. Okay, go back up to 70. Okay, and run that transaction, that query.
That's better.
Okay, that worked. And now do the next one and run it. That one worked. That one worked. Hooray. Yay. Okay, it inserted all of them. Okay, so now you are done with the insert. You need to save that as, I don't remember what it's called. Probably salon insert or something like that.
Let me see if I can find my instructions. Let's see. Save file as salon ERT. No, salon insert. Okay. Okay, what's the last one say? Do a data export.
Okay, so sorry, what are we doing?
I have to do a salon dump data, do a data export.
Okay, yeah, so I don't remember how to do that.
That one was fast, it seems like. Let me see.
Yeah, it was pretty easy. I just followed the video how to dump.
I'm opening it up right now. Let's see. We go up to server data export.
Okay.
Server data export. And then what do we do? And we select the AP database and dump stored procedures. And let's see how I did that. It should be up at the top and it's not up here.
No, you don't want AP, you want salon. So get rid of, uncheck AP,
okay.
uncheck AP, and check salon. There you go.
And so is this my dump?
And then you need to click dump stored procedures and functions down the checkbox down below.
There we go.
And dump triggers. And export to dump project folder. And that tells you where it's going to dump to. You can tell it to dump elsewhere if you want to, and you can change the name of it. I think you're supposed to do salon dump.
Salon dump, okay. So I have to tell it where to go from here?
Yeah, so there, just change it to.
I can browse it, right? From right.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I still don't see the button that I pushed to make it go. Is this it?
Yes, I think. You want structures and data. Oh, you're gonna have to, I think you scroll down.
Come structure only?
No, you want the structures and data. And then, can you scroll down? No. Take your output and squish it down if you can. There, start export.
I can override it, right?
Yes.
I don't know if I named it the right thing.
It should be fine. So go find it, and it's going to be a folder named data dump. But inside of it is going to be a bunch of SQL documents.
Oh, there it is. Nope, that's not it. I don't see it.
It should be wherever you can search it. If you can't find it, but it should be wherever you told it to save it.
Darn, I didn't name it, so now what do I do? I don't know what it's named.
It's named. Go export again. Hold on. If you click export again, it should come up and does it say where it's going? Oh, actually, that's right there. It's in C users, 9 has OneDrive desktop, CIT 111 week 10.
Where are you seeing that?
Right there, that last thing. So it should be in that folder right there.
Yeah, that's where I looked, but I didn't see it.
And it should be called dump and then today's date. Unless you change the name.
It's got all this stuff from it, but it doesn't have a title.
Okay, so just change the name.
But there's like,
Yeah, there's going to be like 7 different SQL files that you're going to have to upload all of them. Because you can't do the dump folder because it doesn't, it won't let you upload a folder.
okay.
So when you turn it in, you need to turn in your PNG that you created, your inserts, salon insert, and then all your SQL files for the data dump.
Okay. So it's not going to say data dump. These are that's it.
Yeah, so you might have a data dump folder, but inside the folder is going to be a SQL file for each one of your tables.
Okay. Well, I didn't ever have a data dump folder, so I'll just have
I
to.
think because you changed the name, and so it just dumped it straight into the folder that
Oh,
you told it to dump it into.
oh, okay. So it's good then, right?
Yep.
Okay, last one is, what does it say?
I think that's it.
Do an export as a PNG of your ERD. We already did that, right?
Yep.
we're all done.
Yay.
Yay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I would just be drowning if it weren't for you.
There's not a lot of instruction, which makes it hard.
Right. And
So
there
I would be drowning too if this was my first.
and I can't get a hold of my teacher. Like you'll email him on Monday and he'll answer you on Friday and he doesn't even understand the question.
So frustrating.
So
All right. Well, have a good weekend.
thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
See you later. Bye.